All right, question number 6. This one says the number of hits to a website follows a Poisson process. Hits occur at a rate of 1.1 per minute between 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. Given below are 3 scenarios for the number of hits to a website. Compute the probability of each scenario between 9:31 p.m. and 9:33 p.m. So this time is between the range where our average of 1.1 hits per minute. So first we want to write down our lambda, the average that they give us, 1.1 per minute. And then we are looking at 4 scenarios, or 3 different scenarios. A, exactly 4, so we're going to say probability that the number of hits is equal to 4. B, the probability, and this one wants fewer than 4, so we're going to say X is less than, not less than or equal to, just less than 4. And then C, the probability that X, and this time we want at least 4. So at least is going to be greater than or equal to 4. Then we want to compute the probability of between the number of hits that's going to happen between 9:31 and 9:33. Okay, so our time interval, so if we subtract 9:33, subtract 9:31, that's going to give us 2 minutes. So our time interval is 2 minutes. To find our parameter, which is the mean, that's going to equal lambda times t, which is 1.1 times 2, which is just going to give us 2.2. So this is the average that we expect. And now that we have that, that's the only parameter we need. We're going to plug these into StatCrunch and find the probabilities. I'm sorry, I was writing things at the top and I did not realize none of that was showing. StatCrunch. So we got lambda 1.1 per minute. They told us between 9:33 and 9:31. That gives us 2 minute interval. So our time frame, or the number of intervals, is 2. And then we multiply lambda times t, and that gives us an average of 2.2. So go to StatCrunch, calculators, we're going to go to Poisson. We are going to do equal to, so change that inequality to equal to. We're going to change this to exactly 4, and our mean was 2.2. And so this tells us exactly exactly 4. The probability would be 0.1081 when you round the 5th decimal place up, because you round into 4, so 1081. The number after the 1 is 5 or larger, so that's going to go to 0.1082. Alright, and then we want to find less than 4. Okay, so I can just change this to less than, and it computes it automatically. So it's showing you the left side. 0.8193, and there's a 5 after the 3, so that will round up to 0.8194. And then part C, the third one, we want greater than or equal to 4. Now you can just do 1 minus this, okay? So the opposite side, instead of less than 4, 1 minus less than 4 is going to be equal to the greater than 4. So if I just subtract 1 from this, so this is what we should get, 0.1806, but we're going to go ahead and compute it greater than or equal to 4, and you get 0.1806. Okay, so it's the same thing. Okay, so we're going to have some additional explanation in here. So exactly 4.1082. And then we're going to explain what that is. So that means on about blank out of every 100 time intervals between 9:31 and 9:33, the website will receive blank hits. So we're looking at exactly 4. So at the end, it's going to be exactly 4. That's what we're testing. And then the number of intervals that we would expect that to happen on is just, we're going to multiply our probability times 100. So I'm looking at one interval. This is a probability. So if we did it 100 times, we would just take that interval and multiply by 100. I'm going to grab this calculator, and I'm going to take the probability, which is 0.1082, and then multiply that by 100, assimilating we did this 100 times. So if we round this to the nearest whole number, that's going to be roughly 11. So we would expect maybe 11 of the intervals, if we did it 100 times, to have exactly 4 hits. All right, less than 4. So we computed that already, 0.8194. And then we're going to do the same thing. So if we did this 100 times, so if we just move the decimal place over twice, so that'd be 81.9, which will round up to about 82. So we would expect about 82 of the intervals if we did this 100 times with the time period between 9:31 and 9:33 would have, and since this is asking fewer than 4, we're going to say fewer than 4. And then part C, we want to know greater than or equal to 4. So we got that probability as 0.1806. And then an extension, so if we did this 100 times, so if we move the decimal 2 times to the right, we'll get about 18. 18, which will make sense if 1 up to infinity is the most, less than 4 is 18, the other side is going to be 82. So those are opposite ends. So about 18 would have at least 4, so we're going to say at least